Hi guys, this is Suzanne HB, Crazy Just Might Work on Instagram, and today we're going to be doing, pardon me, the tutorial on Flame Game. This is a 4-peg design. You can do it on your monster tail or the rainbow loom. It does work really well with some silicone bands, particularly as the featured bands popping out. Oh, sorry about that. These red and white ones that I've used here, it works really well with those. Oh, sorry, frog in my throat. I couldn't tell you exactly how many bands it uses, but it isn't a very high number, probably about 100 or so. If there's noises in the background, I'm sorry. I've realised that if I try and wait for a perfect time to do a tutorial, it's never going to happen. So I have my son and his friend racing about playing madly downstairs. So if they interrupt, I'm sorry about that, but we're just going to have to deal with that as it comes. Alrighty, so today I'm going to be using, at my mum's request, for the internal bands, I'm going to be using a glitter blue rainbow loom bands and the turquoise and hot pink pearl bands, also rainbow loom. They'll be the feature bands. Alrighty, so this is basically a variation on a standard 4-pin, I don't know what you call it, quad fish, or even just a standard 4-pin quad kind of band. So it'll start similar, but it's the internal bands. There you go, there's our noises. It'll start in a similar way to a standard band like that. So you get your first internal band and stretch it over. Sorry, so it's twisted on each peg. Take it over and twist, which is a sort of standard start to a 4-pin. Then get another one of your internal bands. Sorry for my voice, I just got a frog in my throat today. And do a hook over on each of the base bands. Just excuse me a minute. Guys, can you keep it down, please? Okay, so once you've done those first two, you drop one of the feature bands. So I'm getting focused. You drop one of the feature bands on each peg and put another internal band on over the outside. Now, you need to go make sure you're in the middle of the feature band, not going around the outside or anything. So go into the middle of the feature band, grab that underneath one and hook it on, and that'll attach the feature band. So through here and around. A little bit harder to check, but you're definitely still inside that feature band. Hook over. And this one's a little bit tricky because it's tempting to go into here, but make sure you are inside that feature band on the back. And hook over. Push down. Sorry about this, I'm bumping my stand that I have the iPad on with the table. Let's see if that works any better. The next thing we need to do with this one is get the first one. You can either do this with your fingers at the start or with your hook. I tend to sort of flip between either. Give it a stretch so it pulls inside there, pulls a little bit tighter inside there, and flip that one over to the band next to it, and try and keep that band above the internal band on that side. Then you grab this one, so basically you work in an anti-clockwise direction. That one flips up to there. This band underneath here flips over to there, and this band here flips down to there. Okay, so they're all sitting hopefully above the internal band. I'm going to lay another internal band over the 4 pegs. So we're only grabbing the internal band from underneath. Make sure it hasn't gone above that. Internal band from underneath and hooking it over on all 4 pegs. Like that. Give it a push down. Now your feature band will be sitting there, hopefully, hiding underneath there. We're going to do exactly the same step as we did before. And we're going to flip this one to the right, anti-clockwise direction, the one on the bottom, which will be a feature band there, up, one underneath there, flipping over, and the one here, flipping down. Okay, we're then going to lay the internal band again, and on this step, we're actually going to flip up both bands. So instead of just flipping up this internal band, we're going to flip up the internal band and the feature band together. Now I think it works best if the feature band actually ends up, I'll show you where, it's a bit harder to tell on this one. The feature band is kind of behind, so if the feature band, if the internal band is kind of closer to the peg, I think that gives the nicest look. But you can play around with it because it's kind of a messy design, and it's very squiggly. You play around with it and see what you think looks best for your purposes. But I think that's the way. When I flip them up individually, it doesn't look the same, but if I flip them up together and leave that feature band sitting close, get my terms right, the internal band sitting closer to the peg there, that tends to work out better for me. Alright, so basically that is the whole process. So you start with one band going over and hooking these through like that, pushing down and laying your feature band. So just drop it on each corner. And grab another internal band, lay it over all 4 pegs. Go through that feature band, make sure you're in the centre there. You're not going around the outside of it. Make sure you're inside it. Push it down. And this is how you do it. If you just do it with your fingers, pull tight, flip it over, pull tight, flip it over, pull tight, flip it over. That's my son again. Pull tight, flip it over again, and push down. And then there's the internal band. There. And we take that up and over the peg from underneath the feature band. Okay. Pushing down. Then we grab our feature band and flip it the same way as we did before in a clockwise direction on those pegs. Like that. Pushing down and lay another internal band. Once you've done that flipping around twice with the feature band on this level, grab both bands from underneath and flip them up. As I said, putting the internal band closer to the peg when it goes over should give you a result that looks a little bit more like my example ones on Instagram. Okay, we'll have a look and we'll see. Not quite ready to come through yet. Probably on the next one you can hook it out and start to pull it through, because this is one that needs to be stretched. There we go, these are coming through. Now it'll kind of sit inside itself, but then once you stretch it out, the feature bands will actually pop out the sides, as you can see there. So that stretching process actually pops the feature bands out. Alrighty, so we've just flipped the double band over, sorry about that, just flipped the double band over. So we go back to laying the single band, and Geelong and videoing. Single band, over, 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 and then lay your feature band on the 4 corners. Lay an internal band on 4 pegs. Grab that internal band from inside the feature band. Up and over. Up and over. Flip these in anti-clockwise. So whatever you're comfortable with is fine. Probably should push down there so that they do sit above the internal band. And you can use your hook if it makes it simpler for you. It's a personal preference thing, that one. Alright, grab, whoops, not yet, put another internal band on. And flip that one up and over. Whoops. Up and over. On all 4 pegs. Hopefully this is what happens if you don't keep it above the internal band when you flip it over. So we'll just lift that one above the internal band and grab that one underneath. And grab that one from underneath. Okay. Next thing we do is the anti-clockwise moving of the bands. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So just move each loop of that internal band anti-clockwise from the peg it's on. Grab your internal band and flip both up this time. And it'll kind of remind you when it's time to flip both up. It's you move them twice and then you flip both up, but you'll feel the tension. Oh, you'll feel the tension as you go to, like if you went to move that to the other peg, you'd be going, oh no, it's not time to flip it up. It must be time to take both bands up because it's feeling quite tight. All right, so flip all of those ones up and start again. Alright, so I'll do it one more time. My mum suggested that this would be a cool colour combination because she thought it looked a bit like, the pattern reminded her a bit of lavender, stalks of lavender, and she thought if I did it in sort of lavendery colours it would look really like lavender flowers. So we shall see. Sorry, give that a push down. These bands are a little sticky, so on the push down side. Probably easier if I do it this way so I don't get my hand in your way.
Hey Mom.
No, Geelong, I'm videoing.
I didn't realize that.
Okay, so we'll have a look and see how it's growing because it does kind of scrunch up quite a bit, and then when we pull it out you'll notice that there's like a pod of each twisted band section. So each of those kind of stretches out and those bands will start to pop out on the sides. So it does look kind of cute. I think I use about probably about 9 or 10 sections of those at a time. So I will go and I will continue this one and show you what it's like when it's finished. Okay, so I've done it the length for which would fit my mum or my sister. They've got teeny tiny wrists. Now I'll just show you how to close off. Very simple closing off. You can either just hook all these off and stretch it out on your finger and put the C-clip off, or you can actually, gather them all onto one peg, if that's the way you prefer it, because it is quite tight being 4 stretched over the 4 pegs. So I should have my C-clip out. Excuse all the rattling. And then we just grab the C-clip. Oh, maybe I should have gathered it onto at least awkward one. Okay, pop it over all of them. Hook it off. I'll hook it off with that just in case I haven't hooked it over all of them. Twist that round so I do have it all hooked on. Okay. So that's hooked on there. Now this is a really, tweakable. You can stretch it more, you can pull different pieces of it out that you want to feature. You can basically create whatever you want with that. And then you've got 4 bands from the beginning that you can hook it to. From the very beginning, just hook it under that. I tend to stretch it out and do it this way. So just get it roughly straight, because it's not a flat band, it doesn't need to be straight, but it's just so it doesn't feel twisted before you hook it back on there. And that is it. There you have your completed Flame Game bracelet. I've got another couple that are related to this, the Subway and the Time Traveller, and I'll be doing tutorials on those very soon. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, please subscribe, give it a like, come check out my Instagram page, Crazy Just Might Work, and I'll see you next tutorial. I hope you enjoyed this one. Bye!